For many gamers, there's no greater thrill than commanding armies, outmaneuvering foes, and claiming victory in a real-time strategy game. But for me, it's not just about the rush of battle, but the creative freedom to build, conquer, and completely dominate the enemy. And among the iconic RTS classics of the early 2000s, Black and White 2, Command & Conquer, StarCraft, Populous, and No Man's Land, one game stands out as to what I believe is a true masterpiece: Age of Mythology. Released in 2002 by Ensemble Studios, Age of Mythology was a unique step up from the traditional RTS formula. By drawing inspiration from mythologies around the world, the developers crafted a game that not only captured the essence of real-time strategy, but also transported players to a world of gods, mythical creatures, and legendary heroes. And up to now, both critics and players have praised Age of Mythology for its engaging gameplay, rich storyline, and breathtaking visuals. But what truly sets Age of Mythology apart? For starters, it's a unique blend of mythology and strategy, allows players to conquer not just mortals but the gods and mythical creatures themselves. The game's vast array of units, each with its own strengths and weaknesses, adds a layer of complexity that can challenge even the most seasoned RTS veterans. And with its storyline and cinematic cutscenes, Age of Mythology is as much an epic adventure as it is a strategic battle for supremacy. In the single-player campaign, you take on the role of Arkantos, the legendary hero, on a heart-pumping journey through ancient lands, mythical realms, and treacherous battlefields. Your quest begins in the sun-kissed island of Atlantis, where Arkantos returns to his only son Castor, only to be met by a surprise attack by krakens and pirates, led by the fearsome Minotaur Kamos. The battle may be won, but the enemy escapes with Poseidon's trident, setting Arkantos on a perilous pursuit across the Greek islands, the scorching sands of Egypt, the mysterious underworld, and the icy Norseland. The main campaign takes you through 32 missions, and each one presents a thrilling challenge you must overcome, and it's bloody excellent. The game does a great job of trying to present new targets to each level to make sure the gameplay doesn't get too stale, and it works. There are levels you must achieve a goal by a certain time limit, levels which focus on exploration, tug of war, and even a level where you start off as pigs where you have to then make your way to safety. All levels, while still different, do still play as you might expect from an RTS. With each one, you'll assume the role of a master builder and commander, tasked with constructing settlements, managing resources, and training units to defeat your foes and master the art of war. At the beginning of each level, you'll be given a town centre, and from here you'll need to branch out with temples, fortresses, barracks, and other buildings to help you achieve your goal. Over time, you'll be able to build other town centres to increase your population. You can do this by building on an abandoned settlement, or do it the fun way, destroying your enemies and taking over theirs instead. But it's not just about building and battling. As you expand your settlement, you'll need to advance through ages, upgrades which will give you access to new buildings, units, and there are 4 of them. The Archaic Age, the Classical, Heroic, and the Mythic Age. Depending on which civilization you play as, each time you level up, you'll have the chance to choose a minor god. Who you choose will depend on your gameplay style, and each one has its own unique units, upgrades, and powers you can use to turn the tide of battle in your favour. And it's the units that make the game truly memorable. You of course have your battle units such as infantry, archers and cavalry to advance on the battlefield, siege units for building destruction, naval, heroes, and then you have your myth units, the creatures born out of legend that can help you reach your goal by kicking ass. Of course, you also have your basic villagers, whose job it is to collect resources like food, wood, gold, and sometimes favour to fuel your civilization's growth. Favour is one of the most important resources you have. It's the currency used for obtaining myth units. Favour is gained in a number of different ways. You can get it by praying at temples for the Greeks, building statues for the Egyptians, and fighting for the Norse. Myth units follow the same categories as your ordinary battle units, but they're often hardier, have bonus attacks, and cause more damage to human soldiers. Special attacks can include things like a Cyclops grabbing a soldier and yeeting them over the battlefield, Medusa turning your units to stone, the Battle Ball which buckaroos enemies away from it, or growing more heads the more damage that's done to it, a handy bonus of purchasing a Hydra. Again, this gives each one a personality and makes them so much more than just a powerful fighter. The myth units you get will depend on which civilization you play as and which minor god you choose. For example, if you choose Anubis as a minor god, you'll get access to Anubites, a fast-moving myth unit that has the ability to leap on the enemy during battle, and they can even leap over walls. Whereas if you choose the minor god Bast, you could instead get access to the Sphinx, a myth unit that has the ability to summon small sandstorms. It's really up to you which playstyle you'll prefer. Naturally, even the powerful have a weakness, and all myth units are weak against heroes, doing reduced damage to them while also taking extra damage. Heroes are also immune to the myth unit's special attacks. They're really useful in the game because it means that the two sides are balanced out properly, so you don't find yourself watching an entire infantry unit get decimated by a frost giant. Being able to build an army of human units and mythical beasts and watching them descend on the enemy is just one of the highlights of any RTS, and this game does it remarkably well. And you don't just get to experience it in the campaign. This game has single player where you can choose the AI enemy, map and difficulty. However, if you're looking for a bit more of a challenge, you also have a versus mode online where you can really put your skills to the test against veteran players who really know their stuff. And I still remember trying it out and being so humbled. My last unit was in hiding, only to be swarmed by 20 villagers and destroyed before my eyes. And again, with the extended edition on Steam, you now have access to the workshop for extra levels and the mods the community have lovingly crafted so you can challenge yourself unlike ever before. I think it's also here it's worth talking about the game's music, which is one of the best I've heard, and I can still hum along to it to this day. The soundtrack really complements the gameplay perfectly, with the gentle strum of a guitar when you're building your base, the epic battle music once you start the fight. It really helps bring you into the action. The soundtrack had several people help create it, however the main composers were Stephen Rippey and Kevin McMullen, who seem to have named some of their tracks some interesting names. Not sure the reason behind this one, but if you get the chance to name your tracks anything you want, I guess go crazy, right? Another fabulous thing about the game was the scenario editor, and sweet Jesus, this thing was fantastic. The editor gave you the complete ability to design your own game level from scratch. You had control of everything, from the landscape, to triggers, to units, to structures. It was an incredible thing to add into the game, and something that I think is sorely missed nowadays, particularly in city builders where it would add a lot. Giving control back over to the player is something you don't really see very often now, and it was amazing to have the ability to create your own world. Word on the grapevine is that the new remake will still include this feature, so fingers crossed. I'm excited to try the new one out. I think it looks great, and it's about time these kind of games return to their former glory and had the credit that they deserve. How do you feel about the new Age of Mythology? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. See you next time.